Good afternoon, students. In the previous class, we have discussed about homonuclear diatomic molecules. Okay. Today, we shall concentrate on heteronuclear diatomic molecules. Alright. The electron density is high towards the more electronegative atom. Okay. Now, what do you mean by heteronuclear diatomic molecule? In these molecules, okay, two different atoms will be present. Okay. One will be more electronegative, other one will be less electronegative. Okay. So, therefore, electron density is high towards the more electronegative atom. So, in the case of heteronuclear diatomic molecules, the electron density will be more towards more electronegative atom, or it will be shifting towards more electronegative atom. Alright. Second point, the energy of the bonding molecular orbital is closer to the atomic orbitals of more electronegative atom. Okay. Therefore, since electron density is high towards the more electronegative atom, the energy of bonding molecular orbital is also closer toward more electronegative atom. Alright. Third point, the energy of antibonding molecular orbital is closer to less electronegative atom. Okay. More electronegative atom, bonding molecular orbital will be closer, okay, towards what? More electronegative atom. Then what about antibonding molecular orbital? It will be closer towards less electronegative atom, okay, less electronegative atom. So, this you are going to study, okay, in the next forthcoming examples, alright, in the next slides. Now, first example is carbon monoxide molecule, okay, molecular formula is CO, alright. Now, which are the heteroatoms present over here? Carbon and oxygen, okay. Now, what is the atomic number of carbon? 6. What is the atomic number of oxygen? 8, okay. Therefore, 6 electrons of carbon, okay, and 8 electrons of oxygen, alright, occupy in molecular orbitals, okay. 6 electrons of carbon, 8. Therefore, total or altogether there are 14 electrons, okay. So, the molecule of is isoelectronic with nitrogen. In nitrogen molecule also you have got 14 electrons, correct. Nitrogen atomic number 7, another nitrogen atomic number 7, that means 7 electrons plus 7 electrons, therefore total 14, okay. So, it is similar to what? Nitrogen molecule, isoelectronic, only in terms of electrons, alright, because nitrogen molecule also contains 14 electrons, even carbon monoxide molecule also contains 14 electrons, okay. What is the molecular orbital configuration is then for carbon monoxide molecule? Kk. Kk means 1s2, 2s2. Okay. Instead of writing 1s2, 2s2, we can write what? Kk. Okay. That is the innermost shell. Sigma 2s2. Okay. Rest is written as it is. Sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. Okay. Pi 2p x2. Alright. This is equal to pi 2p y2. Okay. Because same energy. Both having same energy. Alright. Then sigma 2p z2, okay. Therefore, bond order. So, how do you determine bond order? That is equal to half of total number of bonding molecular orbital electrons minus total number of antibonding molecular orbitals, okay. You can find here bonding molecular orbitals are 8, okay, 8 electrons. So, you have to count here 2 here, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, okay, total 8. How many antibonding? Antibonding is sigma star, okay, sigma star, therefore 2 electrons. So, for half of 8 minus 2 is equal to 3, okay. Number of bonding molecular orbital electrons are 8, antibonding is 2, therefore 8 minus 2 is 6, 6 divided by 2 is 3, okay. That means that in between carbon and oxygen, okay, in carbon monoxide molecule there is a triple bond present, okay. The bond is triple bond, okay. The molecule is a diamagnetic, okay. How do you say that molecule is diamagnetic? All the electrons are paired, okay. You can see here molecular orbital configuration, all the orbitals contain paired electron. Paired electron means the molecule is diamagnetic in nature, okay. The bonding molecular orbitals more closer to the atomic orbitals of more electronegative oxygen, okay. Bonding molecular orbitals, the electrons, okay, are more close, or orbitals are more closer towards what? More electronegative oxygen, okay. Next slide. You can see here the diagram. So it develops a partial negative charge and partial positive charge, hence the bond is polar. Which gets partial negative charge? Oxygen atom. Why? It is more electronegative. Okay. Which gets partial positive charge? Carbon, because less electronegative. Okay. See, molecular orbital diagram is given here. Energy along the y axis, you can see 2s orbital of carbon, okay, and 2s orbital of oxygen. Okay. When you see the molecular orbital, okay, sigma 2s bonding and sigma star 2s anti-bonding, anti-bonding will be closer to less this one negative atom carbon, and this will be closer to more electronegative. Okay. And 2px, 2py, 2pz, here also you can see 2px, 2py, 2pz. Okay. The lower bonding molecular orbital is pi 2px, pi 2py. Okay. This is sigma 2pz. And pi star 2px, 2py are here vacant. Similarly, sigma star 2pz is vacant. Okay. So this is the molecular orbital diagram. Next line, another example is being given here. Okay, Cn minus ion or cyanide ion. Now in this, which are the heteroatoms present? Carbon and nitrogen. Okay, 6 electrons of carbon. All right, 6 electrons of carbon and 8 electrons of N minus. Why it is 8? 7 electrons of nitrogen, Cn minus. Minus means one more electron. Okay, 7 electrons of nitrogen and 1 additional electron, because there is minus sign. Okay, therefore altogether 8. Okay, occupy the molecular orbital. So 6 plus 8, that is how much? 6 plus 8 is 14 electrons, correct? 14 electrons. So this is also in total number of electrons. Okay, it is similar to what? Nitrogen molecule. Okay, nitrogen molecules contains 14 electrons. Similarly, Cn minus also contains 14 electrons. Okay, when you count the total number of electrons, okay, present in carbon and N minus. Alright. So the molecular orbital configuration also same. Okay, Kk, you can write Kk, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. Okay, anti-bonding, bonding pi 2px2, that is equal to pi 2py2. Okay, energy is same. Sigma 2p z2. Okay, so you can calculate bond order. In this case also you can calculate bond order. What is the formula for bond order? Half of bonding molecular orbital electrons minus anti-bonding molecular orbital electrons. Okay, bonding how many? 8. How it is 8? 2, 2 to 4 here, 4 to 6, 6 to 8. Okay, 8. Anti-bonding sigma star, correct? Sigma star, therefore 2. So 8 minus 2 is 6. So half of 6 is 3. What does it mean? That means in between carbon and nitrogen there is a triple bond present. Okay. Next slide. You can see here molecular orbital diagram. Okay. The bonding molecular orbitals are closer to atomic orbitals of more electronegative atom. You can see here bonding molecular orbital is closer to one more electronegative atom. Okay. More electronegative atom. So energy is plotted along y axis. Okay, this is the 2s orbital of carbon, this is the 2s orbital of N minus. Okay, N minus or nitrogen. You can see here bonding. Okay, anti-bonding orbitals, and here 2px, 2py, 2pz. Here also 2px, 2py, 2pz. Okay, and here pi 2px, pi 2py, sigma 2pz. Here anti-bonding is vacant, pi star 2px, 2py vacant, even sigma star 2pz is vacant. Okay, next slide. Another example, example 3. Alright, nitric oxide molecule or NO molecule. Okay, now which are the heteroatoms present in NO molecule or nitric oxide molecule? 7 electrons of nitrogen. Okay, atomic number of nitrogen is 7, therefore 7 electrons of nitrogen. Okay, and 8 electrons of oxygen. Okay, atomic number of oxygen is 8, that means 8 electrons of oxygen are present. So total how many? 8 plus 7 is how many electrons are present? 15 electrons. Okay, 15 electrons are present. So Kk, Kk you write, that is innermost 1s2 2s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2. Okay, and then pi 2p, sigma 2pz, sigma 2pz2. Okay, pi 2px2 equal to pi 2py2. Okay, this should be sigma 2pz. Okay, sigma 2pz. Then pi star 2px1, that is equal to pi star 2py0. Okay, energy is equal, but the orbitals do not contain same number of electrons. Here there is 1 electron, here there is 0. Okay, here there is 1, here there is 0. Okay, now This is the diagram, energy molecular orbital energy diagram. Okay, energy plotted along y axis. Okay, you can see here nitrogen atom 1s2 2s2 is not given, starting from 2s2, instead of 1s2 2s2 kk. Okay, inertial. So 2s2 2 electrons are present. Okay, in oxygen also 2s2 2 electrons, total 4. So sigma 2s occupies 2 electrons and sigma star 2s. Okay, occupies 2 electrons. Okay, and then here you have one sigma 2 pz. Sigma 2 pz is down here. Okay, lower level. Okay, lower energy. All right, lower energy because of nitric oxide molecule. Nitric oxide greater than, in oxygen you have greater than 7 atomic number. Okay, sigma 2 pz is down here, pi to px, pi to py up here, higher level. Okay, so x to px2 to py1 to pz1. Okay, so here in the case of nitrogen atom 1 each. Okay, 1 each. Therefore altogether there are how many electrons are present? 2 4 5 6 7. Okay, 7 here total electrons. So since there are 7 electrons, 2 will occupy sigma 2 pz, pi to px, okay, 2 electrons, pi to py 2 electrons. So total together 6, 1 is remaining. That 1 electron will occupy higher energy antibonding pi star to p y. Okay, pi star to p y or to px. Okay, to py or to px. So you have one odd electron here. Okay, one odd electron here present in pi star to px. Okay, now how do you calculate bond order? Bond order is half of, okay, number of bonding molecular orbital electrons, number of antibonding molecular electrons. Bonding is 8. Okay, 2 to 4, 4 to 6. Okay, 6 to 8. Correct, 8 electrons are present. Then antibonding is 3. Where are the 3 electrons? Antibonding sigma star is antibonding. Okay, 2 electrons are there, then pi star to px 1 electron. So 2 plus 1 3. Okay, total 3. So 8 minus 3 is 6. Okay, 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, 5 by 2 is 2.5. Okay, 2.5. So this is the bond order in nitric oxide molecule. All right, next line. The molecule is paramagnetic. So this molecule is paramagnetic. Okay, so magnetic property is paramagnetic in nature. Why it is paramagnetic? There is one single or unpaired electron is present, right? Pi star to px, one unpaired electron is present. So any molecule containing unpaired electron is considered as paramagnetic in nature. All right, then the bonding molecular orbitals are more closer to atomic orbitals or more electronegative oxygen. That is this characteristic property you know. Okay, in heteronuclear molecules what happens? The bonding molecular orbitals are more closer to more electronegative atom. In this molecule it is oxygen atom. Okay, therefore the bond is polar. Since there is slight displacement taking place, electron density, the bond becomes one polar bond. Okay, next line. Now here it is comparison, okay, of molecular orbital theory and valence bond theory. So let us now study what are the similarities. First we will see similarities of molecular orbital theory and valence bond theory. Okay, now first point, both the theories require the overlap of atomic orbitals for covalent bond formation. Okay, according to molecular orbital theory as well as valence bond theory. Okay, how does the bond formation taking place? Covalent bond is formed by the overlap of atomic orbitals. Okay, by the overlap of atomic orbitals. All right. Second point, the necessary conditions for the overlap of atomic orbitals is same. Okay, is same in both the theories. The conditions for the formation or overlap of atomic orbit is same in both the theories. Okay, that is same energy. Okay, same energy, same symmetry about the molecular action, they was overlap to a considerable extent. Okay, so conditions for the overlap of atomic orbitals is same in both the theories. Okay, which are the conditions? Same. They should have same energy, they should have same symmetry, and they should overlap to a considerable extent. Okay, next line. Third point, according to both the theories, covalent bond is directional and the electron density is concentrated between the nuclei. Okay, you know that covalent bond is directional bond. Okay, that means electrons are present in between the two nuclei. Okay, two combining nuclei, right? So according to both the theories, covalent bond is directional and the electron density is concentrated between the nuclei. Okay, fourth point, basic rules used for the distribution of electrons is same. Now which are the basic rules used in the distribution of electrons? Aufbau principle, okay, Hund's rule, and then Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay, both the theories, the filling up of electrons follow these three rules. Okay, these three rules: Aufbau principle, Hund's rule, and Pauli's exclusion principle. All right. Next slide. Differences. Now here there are differences, okay, between one valence bond theory and then molecular orbital theory. Okay, what is the first difference? The identity of individual atomic orbitals is not lost in the molecule. According to valence bond theory, okay, what is the postulate of valence bond theory? One of the postulates says that identity of the individual molecule, okay, that is individual atomic orbital, is not lost. While molecule is formed, the identity of the individual atomic orbital is not lost. Okay, that is according to valence bond theory. Okay. Whereas in the case of molecular orbital theory, according to molecular orbital theory, okay, the atomic orbitals lose their identity, forming new molecular orbitals. Okay, according to molecular orbital theory, when molecular orbitals are formed, okay, by the combination of atomic orbitals, their identity is lost. Okay, identity lost, here identity not lost. Okay. Second point. Now what is the second point or second difference? In atomic orbitals, the electrons move under the influence of single nucleus. Okay. In atomic orbitals, electrons are moving under the influence of single nucleus, because one atom contains one nucleus, right? Whereas in the case of molecular orbitals, the electrons move under the influence of two or more nuclei. How is the molecular orbital is formed? By the combination of atomic orbitals, correct? Minimum number of atomic orbitals required to form molecule is 2, correct? Therefore, in molecular orbitals, the electrons are moving under the influence of two or more nuclei. Okay. Now what is the third difference? Only the half-filled orbitals of valence shell are involved in bonding. Okay. In the case of, according to valence bond theory, the half-filled orbitals of the valence shell are involved in bonding. Okay, bonding. What about in molecular orbital theory? All the orbitals, whether filled or vacant, overlap to form molecular orbitals on satisfying the condition required for combination. Okay. According to molecular orbital theory, the orbitals, okay, need not be one half filled. They can be filled, okay, or vacant or overlap to form molecular orbitals. All right. Now what is the fourth difference? Fails to explain the paramagnetic behavior of oxygen. Okay, valence bond theory fails to explain paramagnetic behavior of one oxygen atom, right? What about molecular orbital theory? Successfully explains the paramagnetic behavior of oxygen, correct? Why it is paramagnetic? Oxygen is paramagnetic because there is unpaired electron present, okay, in the molecular orbital. So this theory, molecular orbital theory, explains satisfactorily or successfully the paramagnetic behavior of oxygen. Okay, whereas the valence bond theory does not explain, okay, paramagnetic behavior of oxygen. Next, fifth difference, does not account for ionic structure of molecules. Okay, valence bond theory does not account or does not explain the ionic structure of molecules. Okay, whereas the molecular orbital theory, okay, explains one ionic structure of molecules. Okay. Then sixth difference, the orbitals always contain electron pairs after overlap. Okay. After overlapping, the orbitals always contain one paired electrons, correct? Or in other words, electron pairs. Okay. Whereas according to molecular orbital theory, molecular orbitals contain pair or single or no electrons. Okay. In the case of molecular orbitals, okay, they can contain paired electrons, they can contain single electrons or even vacant orbitals or no electrons. Okay, no electrons. Then last difference is, seventh difference is, the theory is less accurate and calculations involved are simple. Okay, according to valence bond theory, theory is less accurate, okay, and calculations involved are simple. Okay, we assume that the calculations involved are simple and therefore it is less accurate. Okay, whereas molecular orbital theory, the theory is more accurate and the calculations are involved are complicated. Okay, here there are complicated calculations, so we consider that it is more accurate. Okay, so these are the differences between valence bond theory and then what? Molecular orbital theory. Okay, molecular orbital theory. All right, so I will stop at this stage. Okay, so please go through all the slides. All right, and any difficulty please contact me. Okay, thank you.